Now, next topic, we will go for instance blocks, guys. Okay? Instance blocks. Okay? We will go for what? Instance blocks. So, what is instance block? Anyone tell me what is instance blocks?
Inside the class.
Yeah, come on, guys. Tell me, instance blocks. Hmm. Okay. So now, let me write one example here. Okay. Yeah. So here, yeah. Now, I'm having what? Student class only. Understand? Class student. Okay. Class student we have. So now, in the class student, I'm having public class student. Fine. So now, in the public class student, I have what, guys? Okay. Private. Okay. Private. Int. Tell me. Int ID, right? Student ID. Student ID we have. Fine. So next one, what we have? Private string student name. Okay. In the same way, private, okay, string course name. Okay. Private string course name. Okay. So now, private string address. Okay. Let's suppose these are the, okay, 5 things we have. Let me take one more private long mobile number. Okay, mobile now. Fine. So these are the properties we have. Okay. So now, see, now here I'm creating constructor. Okay. So now I'm creating constructor. So here what? Public. Public. Now tell me how to create constructor. Class name. Okay. So now here see, I'm taking in student ID. Okay.
String
And string
student name.
student name. That's it, guys. In this constructor, I'm taking only student ID and student name. Now, this dot, tell me, this dot student ID
Equal
is equal to
student ID.
student ID.
This dot student name.
Okay. So now, let me use some space. The fine. Sorry. Next one, what?
This dot student name.
This
Student
dot
name.
student name equals to name is equal to student name. Fine. So now, in the same way, I'm taking one more constructor. Okay. So now here what? Now in this constructor, while using this constructor to create an object, I need this data. Okay. If these two data is initialized, then it's fine. So, but for this constructor, I'm taking what? Student ID and here course name. Okay. I need what? Course name, guys. Okay. So now here I'm taking course name. Fine. So
Yes,
in the
fine.
same way, I'm taking what? One more constructor here. So now let me take this one. Hey. So now what are remaining things, guys? Course name, address, mobile number, right? So now for this student ID, ADD address and mobile number, right? Long mobile number. Okay. Now this dot student ID is equal to student ID. Now this dot address is equal to address, and after that what, guys? This dot mobile number.
Student.
Mobile
Number.
num, I think, right? There is no mobile number. Mobile num. Mobile num is equal to mobile num.
Num.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I created three constructors, guys. Okay, so now here, so in this class, I have what? Main method. Public static void main method. Okay. Fine. Now, public static void main method. String args. Fine. String args. So now, in this main method, what I'm doing? Okay, I'm creating object of these classes, right? So now I'm creating object of this class. So now, if you see here, so what is the purpose of using constructor, guys? To initialize the object, right? To initialize the object. Am I right or not? So sometimes to creating the student class, okay, to creating object of the student class. So how many constructors we have? Three constructors. Okay, you can create object of the student class by calling one of this constructor. Am I right or not?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Come on, guys. So sometimes
Yes.
to create a student object, okay. So for that object only I need what? Student ID and student name.
Student.
If you initialize student ID and student name, understand? So if you initialize student ID and student name to that object, then that object is sufficient for me. Understand? By using that object, I can do what are the business things, what are the business logic, what are the business operations I want to do, I can do. Understand? And one more constructor. So to create student class object, I need what? Only student ID and course name. Understand? So remaining data is not required. So, and one more constructor. To create student object, I need what? Only student ID, address, and mobile number. These three things are there, then it's fine. Understand? I don't want remaining data. Am I right or not?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So now, how to create now? Tell me. Student.
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 ST1. Student 1 is equal to
New
new
student.
student of first one is what?
ID and
ID.
name.
ID and name. Right? ID. Name is here what? Santosh. Fine. And the
Yeah,
same
right.
way, student
STO.
ST2 is equal to new student of, so this time what?
ID and
ID,
ID.
course name.
course name, right? Let's suppose Java. Okay, next one. Student ST3 is equal to new student of
ID
And
ID,
address.
address,
Then
mobile number. Okay, right? This is the mobile number example. Okay, so now, right now, ST1 object is ready, ST2 object is ready, ST3 object is ready. Understand?
Yes.
So these are what, guys? These are what? Overloaded constructors. Right? Student, right? These are what? Overloaded constructors. So sometime, let's suppose I want to use the functionality of the student class. Okay. Where I want to use, let's suppose in department class, there is a department class. In the department class, I want to use what? The student class functionality. To use the student class functionality, okay, what I need, so which data I need in the student class object, only I need student ID and student name. If these two data is there, then it's fine. Then which constructor I have to call, I have to use to create object of the student class? The first constructor. Understand? So yes, to create a student class object, I need only student ID and course name. If I pass the student ID and course name, okay, then I can use that object to for further business implementation. So for that time, which constructor I have to call? The second constructor. Okay. So like this, okay, the respective constructor will be invoked, guys. Clear, everyone?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, fine. See here, if you see clearly here, right? If you see clearly here, so the constructors, okay, what we have written, right? The constructors right. So no, okay. So these constructors what we have, okay, don't know which constructor will be executed, right? We don't know, right, which constructor will be executed. So for each and every object creation, all the constructor will be executing here? No, right? See, for the first class, first object creation, the first constructor is executing. The second object creation, second constructor is executing. Okay. Third constructor, third object creation, third constructor is executing. Am I right or not?
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. But here, so irrespective of, okay, objects, for each and every object, okay, so for each and every object creation for this class, I want to execute some piece of code. Understand or not?
Yeah, understand.
Yes.
Okay. Let me repeat one more time. So now I have a class, right? The student class. Now, for each and every object creation of this class, okay, for each and every object creation of this class, okay, for each and every time, okay, I need to execute one piece of code. Okay, so where I need to keep that piece of code? Am I right or not? Understand what I'm asking here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for each and every object creation, see, as of now, what we know, so when you create object of a class, okay, constructor will execute. So that's what we know, right? Whenever we are creating object of a class, a constructor will execute. Clear, right? But here what? Three constructors are there. Yes, each and every time when you create object, constructor will execute. But which constructor will execute? We don't know. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Either this constructor also will execute, either this constructor also will execute, either this constructor also will execute. Based on requirement, they will call what? Respective constructor. But here what is my requirement? For each and every object creation. Understand? Let's suppose 10 objects are created for this class. For each and every object creation, okay, I want to execute one piece of code. Where I need to put the piece of code then?
In no argument.
Can we, huh?
In no argument constructor, it will create one. No argument.
If you put no argument constructor means what will happen? Okay, here I'm putting no argument constructor. Here I'm writing one no argument constructor. Public student. This is the no argument constructor, right?
Yes, sir.
This is what system dot out dot println. Here I am println. This is what zero arg or no arg, right? Zero arg constructor. Then if I create zero arg constructor, what will happen? So here, what is my question? You guys clear or not? Okay. So here, what is my question? You know, for each and every object creation, I want to execute some piece of code. Hey boss, are you creating object of this class? Yes. Yes, you can create object of this class. But when you create object of this class, okay, please execute this piece of code. Understand? So, where I have to keep that piece of code? Here what? Each and every time this piece of code has to be executed. So when you create object of my class, each and every object creation, okay, this piece of code has to be executed. So where we can keep? That is my question. Understand?
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Where we can keep? If you keep constructor means, let's suppose, I think Vani is asking. So we can create a zero argument constructor. There you can keep. Okay. So here I'm keeping. Let's suppose here I'm keeping. Right? I'm keeping. I'm keeping constructor. Zero argument constructor. Here I'm writing some piece of code. Some logic I'm writing here.
Yeah.
Common logic, guys. Some common logic I'm writing here. Now, what will happen? For each and every time, this zero argument constructor will execute. So now, here I'm creating object. How many objects I created? 3 objects I created. What is the first object? Student st1 is equal to new student of 101 Santosh. So this time, the zero argument constructor will execute?
No.
No. So if the zero argument constructor will not execute, then how the logic? I mean, some piece of code has to be executed, right? So then how that logic will execute now? Am I right or not?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you keep the same logic here in this constructor, okay, in this constructor, so now when you create object of this class by using this constructor, that time only that piece of code will execute. Okay, if you write here. Understand?
Sir, if we call zero no argument constructor, constructor means.
Sorry. So now if you write the piece of code here, when this piece of code will execute, when you call the constructor of this constructor while creating object of this class, by using this constructor, if you create object of this class, then only this piece of code will execute. Understand? But here, if you write the same piece of code here, when this piece of code will execute, guys, when you create object of this class by calling this constructor, then only this piece of code will execute. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Yes.
But don't know, right? So here what? Which constructor will call means we don't know. But here, what is my problem? What is my requirement? Irrespective of constructor call. Okay. For each and every time, when you create object of my class, okay, immediately the piece of code has to be executed. So where I have to write now? Here. Okay. So for that reason, someone is asking some question. Who is that? Pata? Someone is asking, right? Just now.
Vani, sir.
Vani.
Yes, sir.
Tell me. You're asking something.
In ST1 constructor,
Hmm.
if I call default constructor,
Hmm.
will that logic will work, right? Every time. No need to write the logic, and we can call that no argument constructor in the each constructor.
Hmm. So that is not a good programming practice. Okay. So we should not call one constructor from another constructor. So we may end up with what? Recursive constructor. Okay. Recursive
Okay.
constructor call. Okay. So now, now, so understand what is the problem here, right? So
Yes,
now
sir.
I want to execute one piece of code, okay, every time when I'm creating object of a class, right? So for that reason only we have what, guys? Instance blocks. Okay. So what is instance blocks? Okay. So here what instance block syntax is, we don't have any name, guys, for instance block. So there is no name. So here see, instance block is simply open curly braces and closed curly braces, guys. That's it. This is what instance block. Understand? This is what instance block. Here what this is instance block. So what is the syntax of instance block? Open curly brace and a closed curly brace. Okay. The logic what you are going to put inside open curly brace and a closed curly brace. Okay. So this is what, guys, instance block. Clear, everyone?
Okay.
Okay. So now.
Yes, sir.
So here, this is what instance block. Now, common logic. Piece of code. Something. Okay. So now, now if you put the common logic for each and every object creation, I need to execute some common logic, guys. Understand? For each and every object creation, so I want to execute some piece of code or some common logic has to be executed. Where we need to keep that common logic or common piece of code under instance block. So if you put that logic under instance block, what will happen? For each and every object creation, understand? For each and every object creation, that the instance block will execute. Understand or not? For each and every object creation, that piece of code will be executed, guys. Okay. So now, if you see how many objects are created now, 3 objects are created. Now, how many times this what do you call that instance block will execute? 3 times.
3 times.
Understand? Instance block will execute 3 times here. Clear, everyone? Instance block will execute what? How many times? 3 times. How many days?
I need to like 3 times.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So now this is what, guys, instance block. Now, let me write few points here. So, yeah. So now, tell me. So instance block. No. So instance block will be executed, okay, executed each and every time when you create a object of a class. Understand or not? Okay. Now, if you want to execute some piece of code or common logic, okay, common logic of an object, okay, object, we need to keep that logic, we need to keep that logic in instance block. Understand? If you want to execute some piece of code or common logic of an object, we need to keep that logic in where? Instance block. Okay, why? Instance block will be executed each and every time when you create an object of a class. Okay?
Okay.
Yes,
Come on.
sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So now, so this is the second point. Now, what is the syntax of syntax? Okay? What is the syntax, guys? Instance block syntax.
Open curly
Fully?
brace. Open.
Just open curly brace and closed
Close
curly
curly
brace. So this is what, guys?
Instant
Here, logic, common logic, common logic. Okay, common logic. So this is what syntax of instance block. Okay, so now, how many instance blocks can we have in one Java class? How many instance blocks can we have? We can have many instance blocks, guys. Okay, so there is no limit. You can have any number of instance blocks. We can have many instance blocks in a Java class. Okay, we can define, or else we can define many instance blocks in a Java class. Understand? So instance block in a Java class. So there is no order, guys. There is no order. Okay, there is no order. Within class, you can create instance blocks anywhere. Okay, now what is the next point? Okay, so now if we have multiple instance blocks, all the instance blocks will execute top to bottom. Understand? The order of execution, guys. All the instance blocks, okay, will execute top to bottom. If you have many instance blocks, so which instance block will execute first? Means based on the order. Okay, top to bottom. The first top instance block will execute first, later the second instance block. Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next one. What next? All the instance block will execute top to bottom. Okay. No. Now, okay. Now, so if we have, see, instance also related to object, constructor also related to object. Understand? So here see, each and every object creation, what? Constructor will execute. Understand? Each and every object creation, a particular constructor will execute. Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That object related logic where we will put under constructor. Understand? But here, for each and every object, if you have a common logic. Understand? See, now I'm creating object of this student ST2. So to create object of ST2, which constructor I'm calling? Two argument constructor. So what are the
Yes, sir.
parameters here? Student ID and course.
Course.
Okay, student ID and course. Now, while creating object of this class, I want to execute some logic. So which logic I am putting here? Just to initialize student ID and course. Right? Student ID and course. Am I right or not? See here,
Yes.
student ID and course. This piece of code. Okay. So now that piece of code where I can write under this constructor. Right? Now this logic will be related to what? This object. ST2 object.
ST2.
Am I right or not? So now first class object. This is what? Student ID and name. Okay. To create this class object, I want to put some piece of code. So what kind of code I'm putting under this class, this constructor? Just initializing student ID and name here. So along with this, if you want to put some piece of code here, that piece of code will execute. Now this logic is related to this object. Okay. Now the logic what we have put under second constructor, that logic is related to second object. Understand? The third constructor, if you write any logic, that logic is related to what? Third object. Now here what? Irrespective of these objects, for all the objects, okay, there is a common logic. For all the objects, there is a common logic. Okay, whether you create first object also, second object also, third object also, or n number of objects. For each and every object creation, I want to execute what? Some piece of code, some common logic. Where I need to put that common logic now? Where I need to put the common logic? We need to put the common logic inside instance block. Why? Instance block will execute each and every time when you create object of a class. Okay?
Yes.
Instance block will be executed each and every time when you create object of a class. Right? So now, we will keep common logic, okay, of an object in instance block. Clear? Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now, okay. So now we have a instance block and constructor. We have a instance block and constructor. So which one will execute first? Which one will execute first?
Construct.
Which one will execute first, guys?
Instance block.
Construct.
Okay. So let me write that one. Okay. Now, if we have instance block and constructor, okay, constructor first, instance block logic will execute first. Instance block logic will execute first. Okay. Later, constructor will execute. Okay. Okay. So if we have an instance block and constructor, first instance block logic will execute first, later constructor will execute. Understand? But here, so most of the people, if you see anywhere, if you see any institute or any trainer, so what they are saying, you know, so instance block will execute first, later constructor. Like that they are saying. Okay. But actually what happened, you know, first of all, constructor only will call. Constructor only will execute. I mean, the execution will start with constructor only. Okay. So here what will happen? First of all, the constructor only will execute first. Okay. So now on the constructor, the compiler will copy this instance block, guys. Where under constructor, compiler will copy this instance block after soprop. So what is the first line of every constructor? Soprop. After soprop, okay, if you have instance block, what compiler will do, you know? The compiler will copy this instance block under constructor after soprop. Okay? Don't worry, I will show you. I will show you. Okay? So most of the people are saying what? Instance block will execute first before constructor. But that is not correct, guys. Constructor only executing. Okay. But if you see the output, instance block output only you are getting first. Okay. I will show you. Don't worry. I will show you. Okay. So now, if you have instance block and constructor, first instance block logic will execute first, later constructor will execute. See, that's what I'm writing statement like here. If you have an instance block and constructor, first instance block logic, see here, instance block logic will execute first. Later constructor will execute. Like that I have written. Okay. But most of the people are what they're saying, instance block will execute first, later constructor will execute. Like that people are saying. Okay. Okay. I will show you. Don't worry. So, yeah. Okay. So these are the points, guys. Okay. So these are the points regarding instance block. Hope you people understand what is instance block before going with practical. Everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? So now, okay. Now, no. So what is the main purpose of constructor, guys? The main objective of constructor is to perform what? Initialization of an object. Right? So in the constructor, so what kind of logic we are going to put, guys? Only to initialization of an object. Such type of logic only we are going to keep under what? Constructor. Constructor is meant for what? Initialization of an object. Understand?
Yes.
Come on, everyone.
Yes.
Constructor is meant for what? Initialization of an object. So only that reason only actually constructors are there, guys. If you want, you can write any logic. Okay, but it's not recommended. Understand? Constructor is meant for what, guys? To initialization of an logic. That's it. Initialization of an object. That's it. Okay? To assign dynamic values to what? Instance variable of a class. So that is the reason we are having what? Constructor. Okay. Now, other than initialization activity, if you want to perform anything for every object creation, we have to define that inside instance block. Understand? Let me write here those 2 points also. These are very important, guys. Okay. Now, now the main object of, tell me, the main object of constructor is to perform what? To To perform
Initialization.
initialization of an object. Right? Now, other than initialization, other than initialization activity, other than initialization activity, other than initialization activity, if we want to perform anything for every object, for every object creation, we have to, we have to define that logic where, guys? Inside instance block. Clear, everyone? Okay, here
Yeah.
constructor we have, but constructor why we have constructor? Just for initialization of an object. So that is the purpose actually. That is the purpose we are using what? Constructor. Other than initialization, if we want to perform any operation for each and every object creation, where we need to write that operation or that logic inside instance block. Clear, everyone?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes,
Come
sir.
on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No.
Yes, sir.
No. So both constructor and instance block will execute at every object creation, right? Both constructor and instance block will execute every object creation. Every object creation. Am I right or not? But instance block, instance block logic, guys. Instance block logic first followed by what? Constructor. Understand or not? This point.
Yeah, right.
Clear?
Okay.
Okay. See here. Instance block and constructor. Both are same? Both are not same, guys. Understand? Constructor and instance block concepts are different. And replacing one concept with another concept is not possible. Understand? Let me write that one also. Constructor and instance block. Instance block concepts are different. Okay? Am I right or not? And replacing one concept with another concept is not possible. Right? Replacing one concept with another concept is not possible. Understand? So here constructor is what? Constructor is meant for what? To initialization of the object. Okay. For instance block is, what is the useful of instance block? Other than initialization, if you want to perform any operation while creation of object, where we need to write that piece of code under instance block. Now both are not same, right? So if you have a constructor, means don't know which constructor will execute each and every time, right? So based on the object creation, which constructor you have to call for creation of object, that constructor only will execute. If you write the common logic in that constructor, how can you know which constructor will call, right? You cannot keep the common logic under constructor because we don't know whether that constructor will invoke or not each and every time when you create object of that class. Am I right or not?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, clear everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so now, fine. See now, so constructor and instance block concepts are different and replacing one concept with the other concept is not possible. Okay, so now I'm asking, hey boss, please write a class. Okay. Okay, so before that, we'll see all these points, we'll see, guys. Okay, practically we will see, and finally we will write one example. Now let me go with this one. Yeah, this is what class. Okay, test class. So now here these are the constructors, right? So now this is what, guys, zero argument constructor. This is what
Int argument.
int argument constructor. Fine. So now in this class, okay, in this class I'm writing what? One instance block. Okay, I'm writing one instance block. See here, system.out.println. Okay, this is what?
Instance block.
Instance block. Okay, instance block. See, so what are the points we discussed here? We need to see, right, each and every one. Instance block will be executed each and every time when you create an object of a class. Okay, if you want to execute some piece of code or common logic of an object, we need to keep that logic in where? Instance block. Okay, we can define many instance blocks in Java class. There is no order within class. You can create instance block anywhere. All the instance block will execute top to bottom. Okay, we will keep common logic of an object inside instance block, right? Instance block, fine. So if you have instance block and constructor, first instance block logic will execute first, later constructor will execute. Okay, the main object of constructor is perform initialization. Okay, so now we will see those things, guys, in practically. See, now what? In the class we have instance block and constructors. Okay, now see here, test is equal to new test. Okay, and I'm creating one more object.
T1.
T1 is equal to new test of.
10.
So now this time I'm using what? Another constructor. How many objects are created? Two objects.
objects.
So now if you see here, okay, so now what is the output, guys? The first one,
First
test
one,
T1 is equal to new test.
zero argument.
Huh? What is the
Zero
output here? Zero or
Zero
constructor.
argument.
Zero or constructor. Vignesh, what I'm saying? Whenever you create an object, for each and every object, instance block will execute.
Yes, sir.
Understand? So instance block, and after that zero or constructor. Okay. For second object creation, what is the output?
Instance block and
and int
or
or
constructor.
constructor. Right or not? Vignesh.
Yeah, okay.
So now Java C -D. So there is no compile time errors. Okay. Compiler clear. Clear? So now I'm
Okay.
executing class Java com dot, tell me, com dot tech dot station
Station.
dot which one? Tester.
Test.
Test. See now, instance block zero or constructor. Instance block int or constructor. Clear? So now here instance block is executing for each and every object creation. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So if you create, yeah, for each and every object creation, instance block is executing. So now let me create one more object here. So now this time I'm passing what? 20. Okay. So this time also what will happen? Instance block will execute. So compiler then what happened? Okay, test T1. Huh? duplicate variable name. Just keep it. Fine.
Okay.
Now, so compilation done. If you execute, instance block, 0 constructor, instance block, int constructor, instance block, int constructor. See, for each and every object creation, instance block is executing or not?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. So which one is executing first? No. Let me comment these two. I'm creating only one object. I'm creating what? Only one object. So now I told you, right? Which one will execute first? Instance block logic will execute first. Instance block logic will execute first. Okay. Later constructor. Now see here Java C compiling. Next time executing Java class. There it is. See, first word instance block, then 0 constructor. Understand?
Yes,
Here,
sir.
which one is executing first? Instance block. Not a 0. So maybe you thinking the instance block we added first. That's what instance block is executing first. Okay, like that maybe you people will think, right? Let me do that. See now, where I'm writing this instance block here, guys. Where I'm writing instance block at the end of the class. Okay. Now also, if I start compile of this program and after executing, while executing, see, instance block only will executing first. Understand?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It is not based on the order, guys. Okay. Instance block will execute first. I mean, instance block logic will execute first, later constructor logic. Later constructor logic. Why, what happened, here? See, as I told you, here, the constructor only will first start executing, guys. Constructor only will get chance to execute first. Okay. But what will happen, if you have instance block, the instance block, okay, this is the instance block, right? This is the instance block, right? So now this instance block will be copied under constructor. Here what? Which constructor? 0 argument constructor we are calling, right? 0 argument constructor only, right? We are calling here while creating object of this test class. So now here 0 argument constructor we have, right? So what is the first line, guys? For each and every constructor, what is the first line? Super. Right? Super. So now here we are not writing any super. If you are not writing super means who will put that super line? Compiler will put. That's what yesterday we discussed, right? So this is the first line. After super, okay, this instance block will be copied, guys, here. Who will copy? Compiler will copy like this. Understand? Compiler will copy like this. See, that's why when you create object of this test class, so which one is calling first? Instance block is calling first. Okay? Instance block logic is executing first. Later, constructor logic is executing. Understand? See, why I am telling you, okay? Let me write one example. So here, okay, why I'm writing, why I'm telling like this? See, now, so, right. So now, public static requirements, string logs, right? Class test. Okay. So now, I'm creating one more class, guys. I know you don't know anything about super and child class, but just listen, guys. This is okay. Just listen. Test class. Huh? And now let me write one demo class, guys. Okay. So demo class I'm writing public class demo. Fine. So in the demo class, what I'm doing, I'm creating one constructor. Public demo. Okay. Public demo. Just I'm creating 0 argument constructor. Okay, here what I'm doing, system dot out dot println. System dot out dot println. Here what? demo class, okay, demo class 0org constructor. Demo class 0org constructor. Fine. Okay. So
Yeah,
this is
okay.
one class, guys. Just I created one class and one constructor. That's it. Okay. So now I'm saving this class. So let me save this class. Save as. Okay. I need to write package. Which package? Same package, guys. Package com dot. Tell me. Com dot tech dot station. Okay. Package com dot tech dot station. Fine. So this is what, guys, one class. Okay. Let me save this class. Where you want me to save? Under demo, right? Demo dot Java. I think somewhere I opened this class. Huh? Okay. No, let me save now. Save as demo dot Java. Yes. Okay. Fine. So now, see in this tech.java, test.java. Okay. Here what I'm doing, public class test extends demo.
Yeah.
Okay. Here what? Demo is super class for our test class, guys. Okay. I know you don't know anything about this extents and everything. Just listen. That's it. Here I'm what I'm doing here. I'm maintaining one relation. I'm creating one relation for demo class and test class. For test class, demo class is what? Super class. Okay. If you put extents means what will happen, you know? For demo class is act as what? Super class for test class. Understand? So now
Yes.
for each and every constructor, that's it, guys. Just remember that's it. Okay. So we will see it in detail while discussing inheritance concept. So now I want to demonstrate something here. Okay. First, here people are saying what? First, no, instance block will execute first, later constructor will execute. Like that people are thinking. That is wrong. Okay. First, what will execute? Constructor only will execute. Okay. Constructor will execute after super of every constructor. What is the first statement? Super of,
Super
right? After super of, okay, the instance block will be copied, guys. Who will copy? Compiler will copy. Now, that's why instance block logic will execute first, later constructor logic will execute. Understand?
Yeah.
Everyone. So
Yeah.
Yes.
this here super of. Super of means what?
Demo
Every
class.
constructor, what is the by default statement? Super of. Super of means what? We are calling super class constructor, right? Super of means what? Super class zero argument constructor we are calling. Understand or not?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
Tell me, guys. So here what it
Yes,
is?
sir.
Public test. This is what? Constructor, zero argument constructor. Here what? We are creating object of what? By using zero argument constructor.
Argument constructor.
For here, what is the first line for each and every constructor?
Super of.
super of.
Super of means what? Super class constructor we are calling. So
Yes.
super class, which constructor we are calling?
Demo class.
Demo
Zero
class
argument
constructor.
constructor we are calling. See, now in the demo class, let me write one more constructor. This is what? Zero argument constructor, right?
Yeah.
In the same way, let me write some int argument constructor also. Now, how many constructor we have in super class?
Two.
Huh?
Two constructor.
Two constructors we have. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now two constructors we have, right? Now, so here see, so now SOPROF for each and every constructor, what is the first statement? SOPROF. SOPROF means what? Super class constructor we are calling. So which super class, which constructor we are calling? zero argument
Zero
constructor.
argument
So
constructor.
prof means what? We are not passing any argument value. So means what? Zero argument constructor. Zero argument constructor is calling. After zero argument constructor, okay, then our instance block will execute. Then our
Then only
constructor, okay,
Constructor.
inside the constructor logic will execute. See, I will show you now. Okay, now let me go and compile the program first. So Java C -d instead of test, I need to compile what? Two classes, right? Test.java and demo.java also I need to
Demo.
compile. So that's why simply I put star.java. Okay, all the .java files which are there under this folder C training will compile one more time. Fine.
Okay.
Oh my God, what happened?
Boys. Duplicate classes.
Huh? Would not be okay. Okay, package intro. Fine. So now let me compile one by one, guys. So Java C -d. First one is what, guys?
Demo.
Tester.
Demo.java. Okay, demo.java. Okay, demo.java is compiled. Now Java C space -d space dot space test.java, right? This class
Yes.
also need to compile, right? Now both classes are compiled. Now I'm executing, which class I'm executing? Java
Test.
com dot tech dot station dot
Tester.
which one?
Java.
Test.
Test.
Okay. So now if you see, see what is the output here saying?
Demo class zero argument
Demo
constructor.
Demo class
Zero argument constructor.
zero arg constructor and zero arg constructor. Right. Test class we have.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, I think we removed that instance block. Huh?
Yeah.
Let me put instance block. Oh. Let me write instance block. So now here system.out.println what?
Instance.
Instance block. Okay, instance block. Fine. Let me save demo.java zero constructor. Now let me compile one more time. Which one first? Java C test.java. Fine. Next one Java C demo.java. Now execute Java test. See now. Please see
Yes.
what is the output now. Demo
Yeah.
class zero arg constructor, later instance block, later zero arg constructor. Okay. So what you understand by seeing this output? See, I'm showing you practically, guys. Okay, I'm showing you practically. Means which one is executing first now? Here you see test.java. Where is the output? Let me put side by side. Tell me which one is executing now? No, here test t is equal to new test. Execution will start from main method, right?
Yes. Main method.
Test t is equal to new test. So here what we are creating object of test class. Here what test of, right? Test
Yeah,
of means what? Zero argument constructor we are calling. I mean JVM is calling. Now this constructor is executing, right?
Yes.
This constructor public test. Okay, zero argument constructor is executing. Now what is the first line for each and every constructor? Soprof. So soprof means what? Superclass constructor is executing, right?
Yes.
What is the first line for each and every constructor? Superof. Superof means what? Superclass constructor will execute. Superof means what? Superclass zero argument constructor will execute. Now in the what is the superclass for this class? Test class, demo class. In the demo class, what is the zero argument constructor? This is the one. Right here, see demo class zero arg constructor. See, that's what here. See what we are getting. Demo class 0
Zero hour
constructor is the
constructor.
first output. Can you see everyone?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
So after that, what will happen after super of?
Instance
After
block.
super of, what will happen? Compiler
Instance.
will copy this instance block under super of line. The first is super of, right? After super of, compiler will copy what? This instance block. Now instance block is executing. So what is the output now? Instance block. You know, there is instance block, right? Hello.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
After instance block, what is the next statement? This one.
Constructor like.
0 or constructor. Understand? 0 or constructor. See? So that's why 0 or constructor. Understand?
Yeah.
Now, so which one is executing first? Instance block is executing first or constructor is executing first?
Constructor.
Instance.
Constructor only executing first. Still, Sahit is saying instance block. Huh? Even I show you in front of you only. Practically also I show you. Which one is executing first?
Constructor.
Constructor only will execute first, guys. Okay. If you see any, institute, or if you see any book, what the people are saying? No, instance block is executing first. Understand? If you have a constructor and instance block, first instance block will executing first, later constructor is executing. That is completely wrong, guys. Okay, I show you right practically.
Sure.
Which one is executing first? Constructor only executing. Okay, but here what? Instance logic will execute first. Instance block logic will execute first, later constructor logic. Why? Compiler will copy this instance block under constructor after super of line. Okay?
Yeah.
So first super of line will execute. Super of means what? Super class constructor will execute. Understand? Later instance block logic will execute. Why? This compiler will copy this instance block logic under super of inside the constructor. Okay? So that's why instance block will execute. After that, constructor logic will execute. Am I right or not?
Yeah, right.
Sir.
I don't know. What are the remaining people? Please let me
Yeah,
know.
understand.
Everyone. Okay? Right, guys. So that's what. Now, see. No. See here, I'm writing one more instance block. Instance block 1. This is instance block 2. Okay, instance block 1 and instance block 2. See how many instance blocks we have? 2 instance blocks. Okay, so now which instance block will execute first, guys?
1.
Top.
Okay, top to bottom. We can have multiple instance blocks. Okay, but all the instance blocks will be executed from top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Okay, now see that one. So Java C, F&D test. So here what? See, first one is what? Instance block 1. Next instance block 2. See here output. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
First of all, instance block 1 is executing. Later instance block 2 is executing. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay? Yeah. So now, so yeah. Any things we need to show here practically? Yeah. So now I'm asking you, please write a program, okay, to track the number of objects created for class. Understand? So we don't know, right? See, let's suppose student class we created, guys. We created what? Student class. Am I right or not? So for the
Yeah.
student class, so let's suppose there is a large scale project. Okay, there is a large scale project. So let's suppose in banking application, we have account. We have what? Account. Account is a class, right? For the account, so definitely, so most of the times, right, we are using account class. Why? So to open account also we need to call account class, right? To delete account also something. See, to open Saving account also we need to call account class. To open current account also we need to open account class, right? And I mean, what do you call? What it
Yes,
is?
sir.
Banking loans, either a house loan or home loan or what do you call car loan. Okay, so a lot of loans we have, right? Personal loan. For each and every time we are using what? Account class,
Account.
right? So we don't know. So how many times we may use account class, right? Let's suppose 1,000 users are came. So for each and every user we need to create one account, right? Right? We need to create or not? For each and every customer, we need to
Yes,
create
sir.
one account. So now for banking application, I want to know how many accounts are created. How many accounts are created means what? How many account objects are created? Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do we know? Right? I want to know how many objects are created for my class. I mean, how many accounts are created for my class? Clear? So for that, I'm asking you to write a program. How can we write? Understand? So now, let me copy this one. Yeah. Under our notes. Okay. Let me copy first. Okay. This is one. The next one. Yes. Fine. So now, okay. Now here, shall we go directly Eclipse IDE?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
And where it is here, right? Software setting. Okay. No. Java project. Okay. So now here, project name, what it is, guys, instance block, right? Instance block demo. Finish. So now under instance block demo src, I'm creating what? Java class. Okay. So now here I'm creating what? Now let me create account class only. Okay. Account class I'm creating. Public static void main method. Fine. Okay. So now, so here, okay. Now let me write. Let me write public class, right? Public account is what, guys? Constructor. Okay. For this account constructor, now I have few properties here. What are those properties? Private int account ID.
ID.
account ID. Okay. The next one, tell me private string
Name.
name. Okay, account name. I mean username or customer name. Username or customer name. Let me write customer name. Okay, or username. Customer name is fine. So now, at the same time, I need what? Private string. Tell me, private string customer address. Okay, customer address, and after that, private
Long
customer ID, customer name, customer address, mobile number.
mobile number.
Mobile number.
Mobile number. Fine, guys. Okay, only four member variables I have. Let's assume. Okay, so now for this account, this is what, let's suppose zero argument constructor. Okay, so now sys out. Okay, here zero constructor I'm creating. Now in the same way, let me copy these. Fine. So now in this account, I'm taking what? Int account ID. Okay, and string first name. Okay, first name. So this is what? To arg constructor. Okay, so now this dot account ID equals to account ID,
Account ID.
right? Next one,
Yes.
this dot first address, first name,
name.
first name is equal to first
First
name.
name.
Fine. So now for this one, int account ID. Okay, and after that customer address string. Okay, or else first name and string first address. ADDRESS. Okay, address. So now this one, what? We copy these two. This is what? 3R constructor. Okay. So now this dot first address is equal to first address. Fine. So now let me take one more constructor. Now along with this, what we have?
Long mobile.
Long mobile number. Fine. So now this dot is mobile number. Mobile number equals to mobile number. Fine. Now this is what? 4R constructor. These are what? Like this overloaded constructors we have, guys. Clear? Everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So now here what I'm doing? Object of what? Account. 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 Account only, right? ACCOUNT. Right. Account. ACC1. First account 1 is equal to new account. Okay. And after that, ACCOUNT account, ACC2 equals to new account. Understand? Here,
ID and the name.
account ID 101, customer name Santosh. Fine. Next one. Account ACC3 is equal to new account. Now 101 Santosh. What is the next argument type? Address. Hyderabad. Okay. Now account ACC 4 equals to new account. Okay. New account of here what? One not 3. Okay. Now. Okay. 103. Swetha. Next one is what?
Mobile number.
Mobile number. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. So 0. This is the mobile number. Fine. Why this?
Mobile number long.
Huh? Long only, right?
Yes.
Why it is showing error?
L అని పెడితే సరిపోతుంది.
And
L.
Not out of range. Okay. Fine. Okay. This is primitive type, right? Yeah, fine. So now, okay, fine. So see how many objects were created? 4 objects. I mean 4 accounts we created. Am I right or not? Now I want to see, okay, how many accounts are created. That is my logic, right? I
Yes,
want to
yes.
see how many accounts are created for my class. Okay. Am I right or not?
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So now, so let's suppose for that what I need to do. I'm taking, okay, static int count variable. Okay, int count. Understand, guys? Taking
Yes.
what? Just 0. I'm taking static variable. Okay. So now
Okay.
int count. So here what I'm doing? Count C. Here I'm writing count plus plus. Let me copy this. Here also I'm doing count plus plus. Here also I'm doing count plus plus. Here also I'm doing count plus plus. Understand? Hello.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Later, here I'm writing what? Sys out. The number of accounts created. The number of accounts created.
Count.
Huh?
Count.
Count.
Count. Like that I'm putting. Okay. Now, if I execute this one on Java application. What is the output? The number of accounts created? 4.
Four.
Understand or not? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you see this one, where I'm writing, guys, this count one, I have taken one static variable. Static int count is equal to 0. Right? Static variable means what? Static variable.
In
Come
class
on.
level.
Static and instance variable already we discussed, right?
Yes.
Static variable is called what? Class level variable.
Class level, right.
Okay. Only one copy will be created at class level. That copy will be shared with all the objects, right? So that's what we discussed, right? Remember,
Yes,
static variable. So that's what that time only I told you.
So,
Very,
Krishna,
very, very important. Static variable and instance variable, local variables. These 3 variables are very, 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 very important, guys. Okay. No. So that's what here what count. Count is what? Static variable. Why? This variable is what? Applicable for all the objects. Whenever I'm creating object, I want to maintain what? One count. Okay. So here what? How many accounts created for this class? So that's what I want to know, right? So means what? How many account objects are created for this class? For each and every time, I want to maintain the count. Okay. So that's what I created about static int count is equal to 0. So here in default constructor also I'm putting count plus plus. and in this constructor also, in this constructor also, in this constructor also. You know, for each and every constructor, I am placing count plus plus. Now this count is what? It's a common logic for each and every object or specific logic for each and every object. Count is what? Common logic for each and every object or specific logic for specific object? Common logic,
Common
right?
logic.
For every object creation, I want to execute some piece of code. Understand? For each and every object creation, I want to execute some piece of code. So in this requirement, what is that piece of code? Count. For each and every object creation, count has to be incremented. That is the logic, right? But now what I'm doing here, I'm incrementing this count for each and every constructor. Why? We don't know which constructor is executing, right? We have 4 constructors. We don't know which constructor is calling while creating object. Am I right or not? Let's suppose if I'm not writing count plus 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 here. Understand? If I'm not putting count plus plus here. So now if I execute, what is the output now? The number of accounts 3. The number of accounts created means what? 3. But here how many accounts are created? 4 accounts. Right? 4 accounts were created. But if you see the output is 3. Why? We are not placing that count plus plus under this constructor. Now this constructor is executing to create object of this one. To create account 4, which constructor is we are executing? This constructor is executing. But under this constructor, we are not adding what? This logic. Understand? This count plus plus. So that's why we are getting what? 3. Right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Right?
Yes, sir.
Let's suppose this is one of the problem. Okay. And one more thing. Let's suppose from here, I'm calling what? This of, okay, this of account ID. Let's suppose 105. Okay, 105. And after that, okay, here what? Customer name. Customer name. Let's suppose Triveni. Fine.
This should be first line.
Yeah. Fine. Now, see what happened now? See, run as Java application. Now see, the number of accounts created are what? 5. But how many accounts we created here?
4.
4 accounts only we created. But here it is showing, see, the number of accounts created is 5. Okay, this is wrong or not?
Yes, sir.
Hello, tell me guys,
Yes,
this
sir.
is wrong or not? Okay, completely wrong. Okay, so that's what, where we need to keep this common logic instead of constructors, we need to place this common
Instance.
logic, okay, instance blocks, right? Let me remove from here each and every constructor. See here, each and every constructor we need to write, guys. We need to add that common logic, right? But instead of that, here I'm writing what? One instance block, right? Here I'm putting what? Simply count plus plus. Fine? Count plus plus. Okay. Now let me write system.out.println. Instance block, right? Instance block. Fine. Control S. So now see, run as Java application. Now see, the number of accounts are created 4. Understand? Hello.
Yes, sir.
See,
Yes, sir.
for
Yes,
each
sir.
and
Yes, sir.
every time instance block is executing. How many times instance block executing? 1, 2, 3, 4. For each and
Thank
every object creation, instance block is executing. Clear or not? Everyone understand? So
Yes,
what is
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
Sir.
purpose of instance block? When we will use for instance block? Clear?
Yes,
So
sir.
now
Yes,
instance block and constructors both are same?
No.
No. Right?
No, sir.
Constructor is for only for constructor is meant for initialization of an object. Okay. So other than that initialization, if you want to perform any operation or any common logic for each and every object creation, that common logic we need to keep under where instance block. Clear everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this is all about instance block, guys. Hope you people understand each and every corner of instance block. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.